Hi there. Welcome to the energetic playground of possibilities. And you probably can tell that I've got a huge smile on my face because this, my friends, is why I created all my other podcasts to hopefully invite you here. And so if you're listening to this first and you haven't checked out my other podcast, please do so. However, you don't need to do so if you're ready to dive into the energy that hopefully you're getting right now, perceiving right now. So before I jump in to the field of infinite possibilities, I do wish to say, if you're really struggling, if you're dealing with a lot of judgments, a lot of pain, please maybe consider my other podcasts. This podcast, The Energetic Playground of Possibilities, is a completely different field. And if you're not ready for it, it can be annoying. It can be frustrating. You'll want to kind of say to me, what the heck are you talking about, you silly woman? And I've been there, guys. I've been there. I've been in all the other podcast energies where I had no energy, where I felt like I had no choice, where I knew something was possible, but I couldn't get there. And I've also experienced energies where you actually really believe you've got, precedent, you've got information to prove that life is hard and to prove that you need to have the blisters before the bliss. So I've been through all those energies. I get it. And what I'm saying to you as a kindness to you, if you're really wanting to hold on to your pain and suffering, or you don't have the energy, or you're feeling really dense or really angry or whatever it is, if you feel like this would be too much of a step up, and use your awareness, because there is nothing greater than your own knowing and your own awareness. So use your awareness. And if you kind of go, oh, I don't know, maybe let me just give it a go, listen. And if you feel like I'm really annoying or you want to slap me, or you might even feel like you hate me, you want to separate from me, because this energetic field is so completely different to the way we've been taught in this reality. That, as I've said before, we have to have the lessons before we can, you have to have the pain, so we can have the lessons, or we have to have the blisters before we can get the bliss. Okay, so I've done my job and I've told you to beep, 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 back out. Because, as I said, this is a completely different energy. All right, giving you a couple of seconds to press the stop button. You're still here. For those that are still here. Yay. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about today is there is this field, right? There's this field of infinite possibilities. You know it. You might not have been there all the time, or you might have just had, dipped your toes in there, but it's there. You know it's there, right? And the beautiful thing about this field is it's a field where everything exists. And there's no judgment. There's just total awareness and joy and so many energies that you can just play like an orchestra. So what I wanted to talk about today was, in the field, there are people who have worked this stuff out. Now, what I mean by that is there's people on earth that have worked out, you know what? I want to create from that space. I want to love from that space. I want to make love from that space. I want to go through any challenges that I have here on earth in that space. Because when I do, I know that I'm open to so much more than if I was thinking or stinking or felt like I had to judge something, right? So before I jump you into the field, you probably got the energy of it already, but before I jump you into it, or you can jump in there now. Hey, you don't have to wait for me. What I wanted to say is something that I worked out, and I was so excited when I did. And that is, when you are suffering, when you're in pain, you can feel alone, right? And I never felt alone to the extent of, I knew the forest was with me and I knew the animals were with me. However, where I was functioning from and where I was being was quite different to other people, or a lot of the other people. There's definitely people on the planet that are in the same space. And I did feel alone in that sense. And I'd love some people to play with. Anyway, it only just occurred to me, because as I said, I've been there with all the other energies of feeling like you have no choice, etc. But it only just occurred to me quite a few months ago that, hang on a minute, if everything is energy, then all the people that I would love in my reality, they already exist in energetic form, right? So I might not know their phone number, or I might not know their name yet, or what they do, or where they are, or anything, but I know them energetically. And so there's twofold. There's the energies that are available. So in other words, if you're feeling down and you would love to get some happiness or enthusiasm or whatever it is that you're aware of you'd like more of, you can actually, when I say hop into the field, we're already in the field. However, we can forget that we're there. We can reduce our observation of it. I shouldn't say observation, actually receiving of it is the correct word. And, you know, the beautiful thing is in that instant, you can go from the finite view or the laser beam view of the problem, or, you know, the bear, or whatever it is that, you know, has got you into sort of survival or upset, and you can expand out. And as soon as you choose to see the field and be in the field cognitively and consciously, and so much greater can happen. You know, so much greater can happen. So, I'll give you an example. One of the things I wanted to do was write a book, and I was really struggling with it because it was not a topic that I ever thought I'd write about, which is domestic violence. And so I was like, help, I don't want to do this. This is boring. And when I say boring is in, I've been there, I've done that, like a reformed smoker. I don't want to go smell the smoke anymore. I've freed myself from this. But there was an innate knowing that I knew stuff and I could actually contribute with topics of domestic violence. So, and I got that this book would create and generate, but didn't want to write it, right? So I actually just tuned in and I was like, okay, who out there do I know of that I would love if I could have rung them up, if I could have said, hey, do you mind just popping around? I'm having a hard time here. And it was a guy called Simon Sinek who writes about leadership. And the reason he popped into my mind was he talked about how he had a similar experience, and he phoned a friend who had his back. And because he phoned this friend, he was able to write his book. So I just was playing in the field and I was like, okay, you know, come on, Simon Sinek, your energy's out there. I know it is. Come and help me if it's like for you, come and help me. And then I just let it go. Anyway, I woke up the next morning and I feel this presence in the room and I'm like, what is that? And it was like, I'm here. Come on, get your butt on the seat and get writing. And I was like, are you kidding me? So this is a bit, I know, woo-woo. However, you know, I'm just that kind of girl. I've had a near-death experience. I have an excuse. I was brought up in Singapore with all sorts of different modalities. Let us just put it that way. And there's just so much we don't know if we haven't learnt it or haven't been exposed to it. So just trust me on this. But yes, some of you listening might think I'm a little bit crazy. And maybe I am. Okay. Anyway, so I went, okay, and I got up and I sat down and I started writing, and there was this relationship that formed. Energetic, I have no idea who Simon is as far as anything about him apart from his YouTubes and books, but there was an energy there that I knew he had, that if he was willing to gift it to me, which he did, so thank you, Simon, in the ethers, actually generated and created for me, right? So we can feel alone, but what if it's a lie that we have to physically be with these people? Now, that's not saying that, you know, I've actually learned this one, that sometimes there's someone out there that you can receive all that from, but yeah, it'd be kind of nice to connect with them physically too. So if it's going to generate and create for that, go for it. Don't make the mistake that I made. Anyway, so let's go there now. Let's jump into the field. And before we do that, think about, say, 2 or 3 people, or more if you want to, but 2 or 3 people at least that are known to you from reading their books, or someone that you admire. And they don't even have to be alive anymore. Just somebody that you just thought, wow, if I had their courage, or if I had whatever it was that they had, or you feel like that would encourage you, and that would, you know, they would have your back in a beautiful way. And just think about them. Now, hopping in the field, it can be instantaneous and easy as just hop in the field. You already know it. You're from it. You're in it. Just turn your awareness to it. Because what we tend to focus on is the trauma and the drama and the upset and the problems, and if I only did this or only fixed that, or, you know, let it all go. Just let it all go. And hop into the field. You could choose to step into it, actually take a step. Or it might be a feeling, a body awareness. For me, the field is joyous and spacious and delicious, and it makes me want to curl up my nose in a really nice way. It's like, oh my gosh, this is like, really, I'm allowed to be here. It's just this most beautiful, kind, spacious, enthusiastic, flowing, breathing spaciousness that adores you. And it's better than hopping in a bath. When you're in the field, everything just melts. Because the funny thing is, all your problems, all the things you think about, if I said to you, do they exist when you're in the field? What do you know? For me, they don't. And so when you're in the field, you have a greater awareness. You're functioning from a different space. And the molecules that, create what would be the word? The concreteness is what I want to say. Of concreteness of conclusions. And, I speak again from experience. I was the queen of conclusions and righteousness and superiority and all of that sort of stuff. See, and I'm living proof that you can move beyond it. Yay, Gracie. Okay, so it doesn't matter how the heck you get into the field. You'll know. It's a muscle. You'll work at it. However, probably the best way to explain it is when you're in it, you feel amazing. There's just a sense of space and home and oneness, and all the chatter and noise disappears. And then there's this space. Here we are. Doesn't it feel amazing? Can you feel the vastness of it? Can you sense that there aren't molecules colliding? It's just this space. In fact, there's so much space between the molecules that you have to actually make yourself aware of the molecules. And as I said, that you probably have right now. So this space, just get used to it. This spaciousness. There's nothing to do. There's a beingness. You're just being here. And that beingness is who you be. So now from this space, just invite in, connect to someone that you care about or admire. And just be. And if you want to play a little bit, you might want to say, for example, like I did, hey, can you help me out write this book? Help me write it. Or assist me with this, or what do you know about that? Because the beautiful thing is, in this field, there are alchemists, wizards. There are energies that are just desiring so much to gift to you, if you're willing to receive it. Now, you may ask, how the heck do I receive it? Well, for me, it's about energy. It takes a certain amount of energy to have a different point of view. It takes a certain amount of energy to have more consciousness. It takes a certain amount of energy to maintain yourself in the field. And I don't like that word maintain, but you know what I mean. Like to be there more so than not. However, this is a muscle and just work at it. And when I say work, I don't mean work hard. I mean that kind of work that you just want to get to straight away because it's so much fun and it just creates and generates for you and it fills you with energy and enthusiasm and, right? So when you're in this field, you can ask for anything, anyone. There's no force or manipulation in this field. It's not possible. You can't hurt anybody. If Simon didn't want to show up, he wouldn't. Someone else would. That's the way the field works. It's non-stop giving, non-stop gifting. And the other fun thing, if you wanted to play with, is you can get in the field and you can contribute. You're just standing there in the field. Oh my gosh, what a delicious contribution that would be. So, the energetic field of possibilities, the energetic playground of possibilities, I'm going to join you each week and it's going to look different each week. Sometimes I might introduce you to someone in the field. Sometimes I might introduce you to energies in the field. Sometimes I might just plonk you in the field and, hey, go and swim. Go have fun. Because you've been stressing out too much. Just jump in there. Everything's going to be okay. Dive into the field of infinite possibilities for a while. You've been swimming in this reality way too long. It's exhausting. So put on your possibility floaties and dive in. You know, one of the things that I found, especially with domestic violence, is it's so traumatic that you forget you can have a good time too. It's so painful that you don't believe you can smile or you're entitled to giggle and laugh and have positive things in your life. And I remember the day when I said to myself, hang on, it's okay. It's okay for me to laugh and still, be with this and do whatever, I need to do, the not fun stuff, but I can still have joy. And a lot of people, when they're functioning from this reality, they put so much significance on the trauma and tragedy that in a sense, what it does is it locks you there and it doesn't allow you to enjoy, because there's this kind of warped, really weird point of view that if you were suffering, truly suffering, you wouldn't be laughing. So you must be faking it. And what I can say to people that think that is one word: contractions. Anyone who's given birth knows contractions are like, ah! And then no contractions is like, oh, everything's fine. There's just like nothing going on here. And then, ah! And, domestic violence is the same. Anything, your problems, your suffering, it's the same. You can be in the field and then you can flip to that next thought of the problem, or be in the field. And, if I looked at that as an example, when it's not hurting, when the contraction's not on, does that take away the gift of the birth or the reality of the suffering or pain when the contraction comes? Does it diminish it? Does it ridicule it? No, it's just part of it. It's the wave of it. There's the pain of contraction, or the intensity, I should say, of contraction. And then there's no contraction. And these are always available. And depending on how much energy we've got is where we tend to spend the most time. And if you've gone into survival brain and pain, that's the finite, it's the laser beam, it's focusing only on the contraction. And you're not even aware that there's a possibility of no contraction. So, what I am inviting you to is pay attention to these energies. I've thrown a lot of different energies at you just as I've been talking to you. At times I've brought you down to this reality, and then I've put you in the space, and then I've brought you back down and put you in the space. And this is your choice. You get to do that. Don't let someone else dictate it to you. It's always available. So now, before I go, I'm going to, there it is. Can you feel it? The field of infinite possibilities. You just want to have a smile on your face, or you just want to go, like, oh, thank gosh. Thank you. I really needed this. Sometimes the field can be a balm for you. It can make you giggle. It's so intelligent and so knowing that it will gift you whatever it is that you desire. So sometimes I just become aware of the field and just be with it without any cognition of any energies or anything I desire or require. And there's always something that shows up. So what I'd love you to do today and this week is be aware of the field, be aware of that choice. And when you're in the field, connect with whether they're famous people that you really admire, because really what you admire about them is what you are. You might not have acknowledged it yet or stepped into it fully, but you can't see what you're not. So ask, who is it that you'd love to contribute to? And maybe go to the field and be open to that. And when I say contribute, I don't mean contribute with a point of view. Like if there's something happening in the world and, okay, we need to give them peace, or no, I'm not talking about that. That's finite giving. It's kind of a pushy thing really, because when you're functioning from that finiteness, right? So, here's the field. Take a moment. Step into it. Just let everything go. And if you're being you in the field, just feel the expansiveness. And just notice the space around you. The stillness. And depending on your abilities, you might see things or hear things, sense things. And as you're there, just pay attention. What can you receive? What are you aware of? Who are you aware of? Don't forget the past, present, and futures happening all at the same time in the field. So there are energies from the future that can come to you. Information. And just be with no point of view. And just allow the experience to be what it is, without forcing it to be anything. And you'll have a different experience because you're a different person. I'm a bit of a puppy dog. Just like, come on, where is the field? Come on, there it is. Oh, there it is. Like it's just, that's just me. And yeah, I am a bit annoying, especially in the morning. I'm a bit of a morning person. So I'm a bit like that with the field, but you might not be, and that's okay. You'll have your own relationship with the field. Might look like an excited puppy dog like me. But there's also days that I come into the field and the beauty and the love that's available just drops me. It's just amazing. In the field, the intensity and the beauty and the colours and the adoring. It can change everything, guys. So this is your drop into where I desire to take you from next week. This podcast has been more an explanation of what to possibly expect. I don't know what's going to come. As I said, I might just come on and just tell you a joke and that's it. I don't know. All I know is that whenever I hop in the field, there's something that shows up and I'll share it with you guys. And sometimes that can look like telling you you're beautiful, that you're amazing, and don't give up. What you're waiting for is just around the corner. One more step. And just know that there are people out there that have your back. And even if you don't know them physically, it's okay. So I'm in the field. And I can finally say that I have my back, which means I can have yours. You know, it was one of the reasons why I chose to be single, is I just knew until I had my back, I wouldn't ever date anybody. I wanted to be there for them in totality. And if I could not be there for me, then how could I be there for him? So just know there is an elegance and a beauty to the universe and the timing. And if you're a futurist like me, you sort of get information about all sorts of things way, way, way in advance. And that can be a bit, tricky and annoying until you ask the question, oh, is this just I'm aware of something in the future? Yes. Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I'm really going to go now. And just know that there is this field. There is this field, the field, the force, the field. And it's filled with possibilities. And when you step into it, oh my gosh, there's just so many friends and so many beings and so many energies that can contribute to you and be there for you. And the crazy thing is, what's happened for me, and I'm sure it'll happen for you too, is that once you start really playing in the field and functioning from there as well, you will notice an actualization. So people are going to start, contacting you, or events just happen, or you'll happen to hear something, or, just something will show up that will be very similar to what you were playing with in the field. So, that's how these podcasts showed up, actually. I asked a question and this came up, and it was a match in energy, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, let's do this. Okay, take care. I adore you. And stay in the field. Play from the field. How much fun could you have? It's so much more fun. Even the contractions are fun in the field, believe it or not. They reduce or disappear when you're in the field. Just saying. Okay, take care till next week. Bye.